Raza Foundation for having made this first the Zohra Sehgal Festival of the Arts possible. All these wonderful, kind, great speakers and these personalities have a little bit about their association with her. I would now like to request Dr. Kapila Vatsyayan.
Thank you, Kiran, for inviting me to be part of this commemorative gathering for dear and respected Zohra ji. Perhaps I have to begin by saying that I am here as another generation, a generation which knew the early Zohra. Those of you who have known her, and I have been witness to other occasions, and even where Zohra ji herself came. I remember a memorable occasion in the Habitat Center when she came, and Mr. M.K. Raina did the honors. But I want to take you back many, many decades, I won't say a century, because here was someone born to a royal, almost royal family, and that spirit of freedom was inculcated in her very, very early. And whatever her schooling may have been, it was during her adolescence that an uncle of hers told her that she should travel to Europe. Young as she was, she travels to England, and then, before long, she finds herself in the presence of a great dancer. I don't know if many of you in this audience would even remember her name, Mary Wigman. Mary Wigman was a presence. I've had the privilege of knowing her and being with her in Germany. And Mary Wigman took Zohra under her arms almost, and that was the beginning of Zohra dancers. And Mary Wigman was in the forefront of the pioneers of those who are known as the pioneers of the modern dance movement in Europe. So Zohra's stay in Dresden with Mary Wigman, I think, made a very big difference to the manner in which she looked at the body in space. And whatever she learned there, she was there for a number of years. And then she comes to India. I will not narrate how she was in both Germany and in England, but then I almost take a leap to 1935. I met her first in 1935, when she had just joined the Uday Shankar group. And Uday Shankar sent her a message, can you join tomorrow morning or something like that. I recall vividly the visit of, and there was a small school of music and dance that my parents ran in Connaught Place. And I remember Uday Shankar, Zohra, Uzra, Simki, and Amla was not there, coming to, and I recall Zohra ji also doing a little demonstration for us all as children. She stays in Almora, and one knows the kind of contribution that she makes to the Almora Center. And then one had occasion to see her in the various productions of Uday Shankar on stage, and she, along with Uzra and with Simki, were people who were in the forefront. It is in Almora she meets her future husband and her husband Kameshwar. And her activity in Almora is quite fantastic. I have had accounts of Zohra Appa by Prabhat Ganguly, by Shanti Vardhan, by Sachin Shankar, and all these people whom I have known, and Devendra Shankar, and they were always talking about the great energy of Zohra as she was as part and parcel of the Uday Shankar. The Almora Center breaks up, and the reasons are too complex to be gone into here, but Zohra is still active. She is very active, and already she is drawn not to the leftist movement like that, but she is drawn to Khwaja Ahmad Abbas, and she plays a role in the two very well documented and much talked about films, Dharti Ke Lal and Chetananand's film Nitanagar. There she makes her debut, and one knows of her as an actress in these capacities and in the films that she acted, and these films are epoch-making films. When Sani was there, Balraj Sani was there, and I recall the excitement that we had when we saw Dharti Ke Lal and Zohra ji's acting in that film. Well, we pass over another few decades till we come to nearer partition, and she joined the Prithvi Theatres. And in Prithvi Theatres, again, I had the occasion to meet her as I met Prithviraj Kapoor. And those of you who are in Delhi, and you will not believe me, and we have great theatre personalities here, Amal and M.K. Raina. The shows were held in the Regal Theatre. This was the only place where, and Prithviraj ji, was a great friend of my parents, said कि इसको कपिला को क्या करना है, बाहर खड़े होके और झोली फैला देनी है और इकट्ठा करना है. And it was in the productions of Prithviraj Kapoor that one saw Zohra in yet another role, especially in Diwar and Pathan. And she was fantastic. This time it was not the dancer, but it was the actress. That actress, and I think that this was a remarkable kind of an unforgettable, the way that Zohra played her roles there. We move on to another decade when she was in Bombay, and in Bombay, the kind of work that she did and the involvement that she did. But then she goes off again to England. And in England, she finds herself with the BBC and starts making all those serials that we know of and which are still much talked of and have become legends, including Tandoori Nights and so on and so forth. So Zohra is very much present in England in the various roles that she returns to India and is as active in the whole field of theatre, and even if she is not a dancer, core dancer on the stage, there is naturally she nurtures Kiran and Zohra. One remembers her in those films. One remembers her in everything that she did, which had a gusto. And जिसको कि हिंदी में कहेंगे एक जिंदा दिली थी. Zinda Dili, which never flagged at any moment. Whether it was her acting in Tandoori Nights or whether it was acting in other roles that she took, or the roles of Nani or Dadi or so on, and as she went along. With that, she also worked with Ivory and in that film that and then Zohra had a presence which could not be neglected at all. My colleagues on the dais here know that latter part of Zohra's life, and all of you would have reminiscences of when Zohra was in Delhi and was actively participating in theatre, actively participating in various features. Zohra, at the age of 90, that which I said, Zinda Dili, she could then participate in a film, what was it called? It was Ish Ladai. Chalo Ish Ladai. So that was Zohra. And then, of course, I remember her in the various participations. All that I can say is that she was a unique presence who made no compromises with life as it went along, had gusto, had a commitment, and had a sense of humor which was tremendous. And in paying my tribute to Zohra, I can only say that perhaps we have yet to produce women of that stature in this field. Thank you very much.
Math phobia is developing because they don't relate to mathematics to the world around them. For teachers, our math teaching has to change. If a child has not understood, we have to explain it in a different word. Need for math is felt in the much larger segment.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Rajiva Karandikar, Director at Chennai Mathematical Institute, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
May I now request Mr. M.K. Raina, please, to speak about his experiences with my mother.
There are books, in fact 2 books, one written by Kiranji and one was done by one feminist publisher. 2 books are already there about her life. So I I came to know her in 1970 when I was still a student, National School of Drama. And there was a lady who used to cross from Bhagwan Das Road to Rabindra Bhavan, that's Copernicus Road, 4 or 5 times a day. And there was one room in Bhavalpur House where she had these young dancers dancing. And naturally, we as youngsters were curious, who is Zohra Sehgal? Zohra Sehgal, बहुत बड़ी actress है, बहुत काम किया, पृथ्वी थिएटर रह रही है, वगैरह वगैरह. And sometimes we'll watch those rehearsals. Within a year, something funny happened. We came to know that this was basically Government of India's idea, or rather Mrs. Gandhi's idea, to start in India first folk national ensemble of dance. And Zohra, she had collected youngsters from all over country, from traditional families, all forms almost, and she was training them from, and there were gurus, there were teachers teaching them, and it was really coming up. And we came to know that it has been stopped. And then there was a little kind of an, rumor going on, it was deliberately stopped. The people didn't want Zohra Sehgal to head this institution, and then started the protest to save it. And we were that time, the young theatre people who will be on the streets sometimes, on this protest or that protest, and we joined the protest, and we came to know that Sangeet Natak Academy had refused to look at the accounts which she will do, therefore she can't have it, because money used to come from Sangeet Natak Academy. But this protest was unique protest. It used to happen every evening at 4 or 5 o'clock at Rabindra Bhavan lawns. Entire press used to be there. Al-Qazi Sahab was there, Balwant Gargi was there. Leading lights of our senior theatre people were there to support that they should not stop. And there was great publicity. That is when I saw Zohra ji very closely. And I still did not know her much. Anyway, Mrs. Gandhi lost her election, emergency was declared, nobody could save National Folk Dance Ensemble, and it drowned its own natural death. But my experiences with Zohra Sehgal have been 3-4 things, and over the years, I can claim, a little bit closer to knowing her. When I remember Zohra ji, 2 things which I immediately come to my mind is the great professional. Absolutely professional. His directors are much junior to her, like her grandchildren, but she is a professional, giving the best to them also. Yes, first she will come and ask you how much you are paying me. And I respect it for her, that. Literally, I had no money, I'll tell you later. And that is what all producers in India want to forget when they get actors, or the actors like Zohra Sehgal. Chalo, dikhi jayegi. But she says, how much are you paying me? Okay, this? No, you have to pay me this much, right? Car will come at this point. Let's work out. I think she had, by that time, realized the Indian scene is a strangely funny scene. We are little amateurs still, but she had come from England and worked. Second thing was that her great comeback, I call it. When she came to India, I made a film on her with my son, so that's there, in which she said, I have seen humiliations when I came back. I was forgotten. I used to be in the second row, the first row of an auditorium, and I look at the faces smiling, and they will know me. Well, Zohra, when did you come back? No, nobody recognized her. So after having that great career with Prithvi Theatre, Uday Shankar, England, everything, this nation is very ruthless. She had really to start, what I understand, from a scratch. When Amal said she was any role she wanted, and she wanted to really tell them who I am. And she started, and she told me with great pride one day, "Pata hai kam waqt, aaj main kitna leta hu per day in Bombay ki filmon mein? 3.5 lakh per day." And she wanted to tell the people, that this is what she had. It was really a beginning for her. If you look at coming to National School of Drama, hardly any money there to do a play with Al-Qazi Sahab, coming to MK and doing a film with me, which was with 300 children she had to act. But you give her time, She was taught much before that time there. I'll give one example. I had to end that little film with a little child who was supposed to be a great-grandchild on a cot somewhere in the landscape. And the last shot is the sun rises from the back. I had to place this cot there, and she is sleeping, and the sunrise there. Naturally, we decided it should be 4 in the morning. And I reached there, say a little bit 3:45 or something. I see ambassador car and somebody there. It was winter. Zohra Appa waiting in a shawl, pehna hua tha. I was stunned. I said, Zohra Appa, abhi kyun aayi? I didn't know. Nahi. I took her home, had a coffee, but dot ready. It's not ready of an actor to be ready. She's ready with her lines, with her nuance, with her understanding of the role. She will put you such questions, you have to be prepared what she's going to ask you next. Then my another association with her has been, she was a rebel. Rebel, if you read her book, how she went to England by road, in a car, with her uncle. And those details are hilarious details. When she took bath after 2 weeks or something with a shampoo with a lady who did not know. And till then she had not taken a bath, completely, almost like a hippie going there and telling you when I did my business, there was a commode in the car kept for her by her uncle, all kinds of things. Rebel, and that element of rebel was a protest rebel, which I saw her, my association and our association, in fact, in Sehmat with us. Sehmat is a protest group or culture. And every time we asked her to come, and she will be there, prepared, with her protest poetry. I remember when Sabda died and the very first protest happened in Rabindra Bhavan, her first 5-minute speech was, वो क्या करना चाहता था? ड्रामा ही तो कर रहा था वो. क्यों मारा गया उसको? I still remember those words. And she wanted also be part of a tradition which is protest tradition, which is, rebel tradition, which she had during her freedom movement seen herself. She told me once, she says, when the Azadi आई, मैं तिरंगा लेके बम्बई में हमने मैदान में जुलूस निकाला और मैं सामने नाच रही थी. मेरी चप्पल भी टूट गई, मेरी चप्पल ही नहीं थी, लेकिन मैं आ गई थी मैदान में करते करते, जिस पर कि ख्वाजा अहमद अब्बास साहब ने बोला कि कौन कह सकता है कि हमारे हिंदुस्तान में वेनिसा रेड ग्रेव नहीं है. That she will make us feel very close to her. In fact, I remember she was 82 when I did her first profile for Surabhi television series. One profile I did her, and she gave time to me to come in the morning at 8 o'clock something. I was a little bit early, and I don't know whether you were there or somebody. I went up with the camera, and I heard a voice coming from the top floor saying, "उस कम्बख्त को कह दो अभी ऊपर ना आए, नीचे रहे." So I waited for half an hour. तो क्या है, क्यों बैठी? What was she doing? She was exercising. I still remember those exercises. I said, you have to do it for me. She did all of those. Uday Shankar body movement exercises, that late in life. Then after that, she will do speech rehearsals. Preparation, riyaz pura. She said, kaise chalega agar aise nahi karenge? And then she had a big potli. There were albums in that. I think after that, she never used to show to anybody, but I shot those albums, amazing albums of black and white photographs. Young little boy Ravi Shankar, Sachin Shankar, all of them were there, If you talk of the history of contemporary India in making in theatre and dance, she is one of the pillars of that. And that is what we have to all remember, that she, in that great building, the contemporary pillar, she is one of the contemporary pillars on that, along with Kapila and others. So I remember her at very low moments, to be honest to you, that how would have she handled this? I had a lot of intimate moments. I mean, she told me at one point, euthanasia lao mere liye kahin se. Mujhe pata bhi nahi tha euthanasia kya hai. And she explained. But that how she, her life has been ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. And whether she lost her husband, partition was a big blow to her. She had a school in Lahore, She had to close down that. And how you resurrect yourself back like a wave after wave, and you hit the shore and make your name, make your presence, make your contribution. That's all I have to say. Thank you.